Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tundra Dude 34 YouTube channel. I'm glad you're here. And before we get started with the topic of the video, I just wanted to say thank you. I just realized this morning I hit 35,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel here. So I thank you for spending your time and talking Toyota Tundra, whether it's last generation or new generation, with me. It's a great time. I appreciate you being here. So once again, thank you very much for your continued support. But let's talk about the topic of the video today. Yesterday on the YouTube channel, I put up a short question, just seeing where everybody's at, and that question is, eventually, we will see a mid-gen refresh for the Tundra. What are some things you would like to see added or removed from the current truck, other than bring back the V8? Now, the reason I said other than bring back the V8 is because that usually dominates any kind of topics like this. A lot of you want to see the V8 come back. So, other than that, what are some of the things people are saying out there? Here are a few that I grabbed from some of the answers. Please feel free to go down in the comments below and let me know if you agree or disagree. So here's what some of the folks out there are saying. Kevin says, tow hooks, flat cargo area in the back seat of the CrewMax, generating power on hybrids, real remote start that doesn't shut off when the doors open. Basically everything that the Ford F-150 does better. That's from Kevin right there. Aggie Phil says remote start that doesn't shut off when you open the doors. That is one that is common that people always talk about for years because it's been around like that for a long time. Joseph said tow hooks and a lower price. Everybody wants to pay a little bit less. And last but not least, we'll say stuff we learn overlanding. Says maybe a dark headliner, Sequoia style front grille, lumbar for manual seats, integrated bed step. Not a fan of where the 12-volt plug is located, and that's in the bed. So those are some really common things people talk about all the time. Number one, tow hooks. I really want to see tow hooks ASAP. And this isn't necessarily, a wait till the mid-cycle refresh, because that could still be a few years off. Just what we want to see going forward in the Tundra, some things added or subtracted. But the tow hooks are something I think they will come back eventually. That and the V8 are the two things people talk about all the time. I think every pickup truck should have tow hooks for sure, so I totally agree with that. As far as a flat cargo space in the back of the CrewMax, that might be kind of tough unless they come up with something that folds up and down. If you have the regular I-Force in the new generation, you have a nice storage compartment under the seats. Maybe if they put a top over that, and once again, something that pops up and can even the floor out with that, that might be something that works. If you have the I-Force Max though, that is where the batteries are, and it already has a cover on the top. So once again, it could be something that pops up out of the floor. But I have heard that quite a few times, a flat surface for cargo in the back of the CrewMax. Now another thing people bring up all the time is that remote start. So Toyota has always had a remote start system that once you go into the remote start feature and start the truck, say you're going to work in the morning and you want to warm it up to get all of the, the windows cleared, defrost mode, whatever. The minute you go to unlock the truck or go into the truck, it shuts off and you have to start it again. Now, a lot of other brands out there, most if not all other brands out there, the remote start, you start it up, do what you got to do. When you go to the vehicle, you just go. And if you still have a key, you put the key in and go. And if it's remote start, you just get in the vehicle with the key fob and you go. You don't have to shut the vehicle off and then turn it back on. So that's one thing a lot of people complain about when it comes to the remote starts for Toyota. So hopefully one day we see something like that. There are some aftermarket options out there that will remote start the vehicle like some of the other brands. But for years, this is not just new generation Tundra we're talking about. Toyota has had their remote start this way. Another thing people say, and this is everyone, including me, everyone wants to see lower prices out there. The prices of all vehicles right now are pretty high. The prices of everything out there right now are pretty high. But one thing I like to do when I walk the dealership lots, some lots have dealer markups, some don't. I always like to focus on that MSRP, that sticker price, just to kind of have a median for, the nationwide viewers out there and in Canada, just an idea of what the vehicle costs as per the sticker, because the dealer markups change from zero way up into the thousands, so it's hard to work off those numbers. But if I show you a CrewMax, say Army Green SR5 with the TRD off-road package, and it's going for $55,000, then I always ask, how do you feel about that price? That's a number we can talk about. There are some people who've reported back to me six-figure Tundras around the country. It's hard to sit there and ask, would you pay that? Because no one wants to pay six figures for a Tundra because of a big dealer markup. So that is why I always say, let's focus on the window sticker price. And that is where that question comes in and that answer comes in, lower the prices. I love hearing your feedback on those dealership walks to see if you think the price is close to where it should be on a lot of these Tundras. But overall, at the end of the day, I don't think the prices are going to lower much. But what I would like to see come back when everything normals out again are great incentives, cash back, good APR, just a lot of different things that they used to have to get you into a vehicle. A few years ago, before 2020, no one paid MSRP for these vehicles. Everybody got thousands off when they went and shopped for any car, not just a Toyota, not just a Tundra. I would like to see everything return to that. That is something I would like to see. Dealer markups were something a few years ago that were reserved for super special things that just launched. In Toyota's land, maybe a TRD Pro, because that was, limited quantity back then. But now, you see dealer markups on regular SR5s. So I hope everything returns to that. As far as lowering the pricing, I would love to see a lower price on the sticker, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the incentives, the customer cash, the lease specials, the APR specials, all of that needs to come back, and I think that will make people a little bit more happy. Now, another thing everybody talks about with this Tundra that they would like to see changed is the Sequoia front end. Okay, and the big thing about the Sequoia front end that everybody likes is there's a separation between the bottom bumper and the grille. All right, so there's actually a separation of some body in between it that gives it almost like a Tundra look, but that's the one thing everybody talks about that they want to see. For me, I think it depends with the Tundra on what trim you're looking at. Some of them look great, like the TRD Pro looks good the way it's set up, in my opinion. Of course, you can comment below and disagree. I like the way the TRD Pro is set up now because the black grille, especially with the black Tundra I have outside, the black grille and the black bumper on the bottom, everything flows together fine. It really depends on what trim you're looking at, what grille is on the front of the truck. And then, in some cases, I agree with that. All right, another thing that was brought up and is brought up very often, integrated bed step. Toyota does offer a bed step that you kick down under the rear bumper, and that's been around for actually a very long time. That's not just this new generation. On the new generation, in the higher trims, it actually comes down automatically when you open the tailgate, but all the other trims, it's still that kick down and kick up version. I mean, at least there's some kind of a bed step, but I totally agree. Integrated bed step would be a great idea going forward. Chevy has that market cornered with their rear bumpers. Right in the corner of their bumpers, they have steps. I think that is an amazing idea. Ford has come out with different ways to get into the bed. As far as coming out of the tailgate, there's like a little step ladder with a handle. Other brands have done things to help you get up into the bed. And Toyota does offer this bed step, but I wish they would do something like an integrated bed step for sure. As far as black headliner, I think I'm the biggest advocate for bringing the black headliner down into the lower trims. The black headliner right now is available in Platinum, $17.94, and Capstone. Everything else gets that light gray headliner, including the TRD Pro, which kind of blows my mind because the TRD Pro interior, you're either getting that black camo or that red camo interior, and the black headliner would look great with it. So yes, I totally agree. Black headliner all the way down. We just bought my wife a 2023 Highlander. She has a black headliner, XSE all-wheel drive. So yes, I totally agree with you on that. But here's one that I would like to add along with some of your wants for the future. I would like the double cab to go back to what it was. And what I mean by that is last generation, you had the Crewmax with the 5.5-foot bed. You had the double cab with the 6.5-foot bed. Now, the draw to the double cab was that bigger bed. There was no 6.5-foot bed offered on the Crewmax yet. There is now. When they came to the new generation, the cab really did shrink quite a bit on the double cab, making it so you could have backseat passengers, but not for a long period of time, and no one too tall. The old generation, you could have backseat passengers for a long trip. I've done it. I had a bunch of double cabs. We've traveled to NASCAR races 6-7 hours away, no problem. It fit everyone great, and you got the bed, and that's what made the double cab great. They've turned the double cab more into an access cab like the Tacoma. I really would like to see a little more space added into that double cab because, as I always say on those dealer walks, the double cab is a great way to save a few $1,000s. Maybe you're someone that doesn't use their back seat as much, but you still want that space when you do need it. Here's a couple things I would like to see stay the same You don't need to change anything here. Number one is the driving experience. All right, whether it be the iForce Max engine, which is amazing, very powerful, very refined, very linear feel with that 10-speed transmission, or the platform suspension, the entire truck just gets down the road a lot better than it ever has. So that is definitely something I would like to see them keep. If they want to keep playing with it to make it even better, I'm all for it. But everything about that platform now, I was driving to and from that dealership over by Philadelphia the other day, which is, I think, 50 miles each way, just about 50 miles each way. And I was just basically admiring the fact of how comfortable the truck is to drive. Track straight, no problem. Just very, very comfortable. The suspension is amazing. It's a TRD Pro, so the suspension on the TRD Pro has always been great. That mixed with the new frame, the new platform, it just is a pleasure to drive. So the driving experience is something I would like to see left alone. We don't have to do too much to that. That is an A+, so let's work on some of those other things we talked about earlier in the video. Another thing that has to be given in a shout out is the interior. I think they've done a great job with the interior. Everything flows nicely together. I didn't think I would like that 14-inch infotainment screen, but you know what? It doesn't bother me. It's not intrusive. It's not annoying. It does the job fine, and I like the way the dashboard flows together very nicely. It looks a lot like other Toyotas. A lot of the Toyotas, if you hop in from one model to another, you could kind of see the DNA of each one, and that's the direction they're going with, all of their models, so it makes sense. But the Tundra flows together nice. There's not random chrome anywhere like there used to be. And the other great part about the interior, other than the functionality of it and still the simplicity of it, because the buttons are easy to find, they're just buttons that are meant for a purpose. They're not random buttons that don't make sense that you'll never use. Everything still has that Toyota look to it. But yeah, I love everything about the functionality of the dashboard and the interior, but we also have to shout out the fact, definitely wouldn't mess with this at all. I love the fact that the interior and some of the exterior features of these trucks now have unique touches all the way down into the SR5. So if you go up into the 1794, it's always been the Western theme. You go into the Platinum, you could tell you're in the Platinum. It has that blue stitch in the black with the leather seats. It has that blue light that goes around in the interior, the ambient light. It says Platinum on the dash, 1794, says 1794. TRD Pro says Toyota. You could get that in two different colors, interior with TRD Pro on the seats. They've really done a great job in separating the interiors as per what trim you get. I think that's a great idea, because if you're going to spend the money, you want to know what you spent the money on. For instance, I have the black with the red interior TRD Pro. Some people don't like that red interior, and they do offer a black interior as well. But for me, I like the fact that it's something that looks premium on a limited edition, limited quantity truck. I think it's awesome, and it really does flow together nicely. Red and black all over the place. If you see any silver, it's like a dark machine silver, more like a gray. Everything works together great, but I do love the fact that all of the trims have their own unique touches when it comes to the interior. If we're missing anything here, go down in the comments below and let us know what you like and dislike and what you want to see changed. Until next time, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TundraDude34, TundraDude34@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for 35,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys being here and look forward to spending many more years with you talking about the great Toyota Tundra. Be well.